The war had ended, and the stars were silent again. The air smelled of smoke and dust, and the ruins of battleships floated like fallen giants in orbit around the shattered moon. Captain Ryan Hale, human soldier of the United Earth Forces, walked slowly among the wreckage. His armor was scratched, his face smeared with ash, and his eyes were heavy with exhaustion. Years of training, months of fighting, and a mission that almost killed him, all led to this day, the day he would receive his reward. He had expected medals, honors, and perhaps a ship or two. He had not expected the alien palace that now rose before him. Even from the outside, it was breathtaking. Towers of polished metal, domes glowing with soft light, bridges of crystal stretching between levels. The palace was alive with energy, humming with the presence of beings from across the galaxy. This was the heart of the Allied forces' victory, a place where history would be made. Ryan stepped inside, and his boots clicked on the polished floor. Aliens of every shape and size watched him as he moved. Some had long, elegant limbs, others had shells like tanks, and a few had eyes that could pierce through the veil of time. They whispered among themselves, curious, cautious, and some amused. At the center of the hall, on a raised platform, stood the king of the Allied forces. His form was regal, shimmering with energy. Round him, advisors, generals, and ambassadors watched Ryan like he was a curiosity. But it was not the king who drew Ryan's attention. There, standing slightly to the side, was Princess Vera. She did not shine like the others. She did not radiate elegance or authority. Her skin was mottled with strange patterns, uneven in color. Her eyes were large and not symmetrical, giving her a strange, almost awkward expression. Her frame was small and hunched, and her movements were cautious, careful, as though she feared even the air itself. The hall murmured when Ryan's gaze fell on her. "The ugliest princess in the galaxy," someone whispered. Another chuckled softly. She had been rejected by her own people, ignored in court, and laughed at by neighboring planets. And yet, here she stood, as if she belonged. The king spoke, his voice calm and commanding. "Captain Hale, for your bravery and the countless lives you saved during the siege of Orion, you are to be rewarded. You may choose any reward the royal court can offer: treasure, ships, land, or one of our royal heirs." The court gasped. The idea of a human choosing a princess, any princess, was almost unheard of. Some already whispered among themselves, debating which princess Ryan would pick. Everyone expected him to choose a tall, elegant, radiant princess whose beauty could rival the stars themselves. But Ryan's eyes remained on the small figure, Vera, who shrank slightly under his gaze. He walked up the steps of the platform. With calm determination, every step silenced the whispers. Every footfall was like a drumbeat of certainty. He stopped before the king. "I choose her," he said simply, pointing to Princess Vera. The hall erupted. Gasps, laughter, and shocked cries filled the air. "Surely he jokes," an ambassador hissed. That one," another voice murmured. "She is repulsive. Are you blind?" The king raised a hand, silencing the uproar. His eyes met Ryan's, sharp and questioning. "Captain, are you certain?" "She is, not as the others. She carries no political alliances, no wealth, no social standing. The choice is yours, but know the consequences." Ryan met the king's. "Gaze evenly. I am certain. She risked her life to save civilians during the siege. She showed courage when no one else did. I choose her because she has value beyond appearances." The court fell silent. Ryan turned to face Vera. Her large eyes blinked at him, confusion and fear mixing with curiosity. She had never been chosen, never been wanted. And now a human of all beings had chosen her, not for what she looked like, but for who she was. Ryan extended a hand toward her. "Come with me," he said. Vera hesitated. Her mind raced with questions. Why him? Why now? She had spent her entire life hiding, avoiding attention, pretending to be less than she was, just to survive. And yet this human, this strange, confident being, saw something different in her. Finally, slowly, she placed her hand in his. The hall remained silent, every gaze fixed on them. Some were in shock, others in amusement, But no one had expected this. The king nodded, a small smile on his lips. Then it is done. Captain Hale and Princess Vera may depart. The palace doors opened, revealing the starry sky beyond. A human transport awaited them, sleek and silent. Ryan helped Vera onto the ship, careful to ensure she did not stumble. Her eyes scanned the surroundings, wary, but there was a spark in them now, a glimmer of hope she had not felt in her entire life. Once inside, the ship's engines hummed, lifting off from the palace with smooth precision. Ryan seated himself and glanced at Vera. "You don't need to hide from me," he said softly. "I want to know who you really are." Vera looked away at first, her fingers fidgeting with the edge of her cloak. She had no reason to trust anyone. She had learned long ago that trust often led to betrayal. But there was something in his voice, calm, steady, without judgment, that made her pause. I am not important," she whispered. "No one ever notices me. No one ever chooses me. Why would you?" Ryan smiled faintly, shrugging. "Because what you do matters more than what you look like. Courage, skill, intelligence. Hey, those are the things worth noticing." For a moment, Vera considered retreating back into her hood, into the shadows where she had always felt safe. But something in her heart stirred. She had spent so long hiding from the world, pretending to be less, that she had forgotten what it felt like to be seen. And now, for the first time, someone truly saw her. The ship's engines roared as they left orbit. Stars stretched into streaks of light as they entered hyperspace. The journey ahead would be long, and dangers awaited them in uncharted space. But for the first time, Vera felt a flicker of excitement, a sense of purpose she had never known. Ryan leaned back in his seat, eyes forward. "We'll face it together," he said simply. Vera studied him silently, her large eyes reflecting the stars. Perhaps this human was different from all the others. Perhaps, just perhaps, he might be the one who could see her true self, not the face she was forced to hide behind, but the being she truly was inside, and for the first time, she allowed herself to hope. The stars raced past as their ship disappeared. Into the void, leaving the palace, the whispers, and the judgment of 1,000 worlds behind. Ahead lay a journey neither of them could fully understand. Journey of discovery, courage, and the unveiling of secrets that could change the galaxy itself. But for now, Ryan Hale and Princess Vera sat side by side, two unlikely companions, brought together by fate, by war, and by a choice no one else could have understood. And the universe, vast and endless, seemed just a little smaller, just a little brighter, because for the first time, someone had chosen her. The stars streaked past the viewport as the human transport moved steadily through hyperspace. Captain Ryan Hale sat in his seat, still alert, though he tried to appear relaxed. Beside him, Princess Vera stayed quiet, her hands folded tightly. In her lap, her hood still pulled over her head. Silence between them was heavy, but not uncomfortable. It was the silence of two beings, unsure of how to begin, yet drawn together by circumstances neither had chosen. The ship hummed gently, a steady rhythm that contrasted with the chaos Ryan had left behind on the battlefield. He glanced at Vera again. The light from the viewport illuminated her face partially, the uneven patterns of her skin and her large, mismatched eyes. Many would call her ugly, some even monstrous. But Ryan did not see ugliness. He saw someone brave, someone strong. In a way few others could understand. That was why he had chosen her. "Do you always travel alone?" he asked softly, trying to break the silence. Vera flinched slightly, surprised at the question. She was not used to being asked anything so ordinary, so human. Most people avoided her, whispered behind her back, or treated her as less than a person. Only the war had forced her into the spotlight, and even then, she had remained on the edges. "I am often alone," she replied cautiously. Her voice was soft, almost hesitant, like a bird testing the air before taking flight. "It is safer. People tend to judge quickly, to assume things about me that are not true." Ryan nodded. That all too well. Humanity had prejudices, and he had seen them in other species too. "Sometimes," he said, The safest path is not the one that shows who we are. But it's not the one I take. I choose to see the person inside. Vera looked at him, her large eyes widening. You really mean that? She asked, disbelief and hope mingling in her tone. Ryan smiled faintly. I do. Actions, courage. And choices matter more than appearances. You risked your life to save innocence. That is worth more than any crown or gown. For a moment, Vera felt warmth in her chest. She had spent her life hiding from the world, pretending to be small and unimportant. No one had ever noticed her true value, not until now. For the first time, someone had chosen her not for convenience, not for politics, but because he respected who she was. The ship shook suddenly, a warning light blinking on the console. Ryan immediately stood, his military training kicking in. Report, he barked to the pilot. We're passing through a dense asteroid field, the pilot replied, voice tense. Course adjustments are minimal. Sensors indicate possible debris collisions. Ryan's eyes narrowed. Asteroids in hyperspace were rare but dangerous. Vera, stay close, he said. Keep your hands and feet inside the cabin at all times, she nodded, gripping the seat in front of her as the ship began to swerve slightly to avoid the larger asteroids. Ryan moved to the controls, his instincts guiding the ship through the chaos. Vera watched him, noting the calm precision. In his movements, he had survived battles in space, on land, and in firestorms. It showed in the way he handled the danger. When the ship finally cleared the asteroid field, both of them exhaled deeply. The stars beyond the viewport returned to their familiar streaks of light. Vera's tension eased slightly, though her mind remained alert. She realized that Ryan was not just brave, he was steady under pressure, and that steadiness made her feel safer than she had ever felt before. Hours passed. The hum of the engines and the gentle rocking of the ship created a rhythm that lulled both of them into a quiet, reflective mood. Vera dared to speak again. You are not like the others, she said softly. You do not fear me. You do not laugh at me. Ryan shook his head. I do not need to fear you, and I do not see the need to laugh. You are not defined by what others think. Vera's large eyes studied him. She had always hidden her intelligence and skills because the court had dismissed her. The advisors had mocked her, and even her own family had doubted her. She had survived by pretending to be less capable than she truly was. But now, with Ryan, she felt the urge to reveal a little of herself, to show the depth she had kept hidden. She began hesitantly. I have knowledge of history, languages, strategies, many things, but I never display them. They would not care. Ryan's eyes lit up with interest. I care, and I want to see it. For the first time, Vera allowed herself to smile, faintly but genuinely. She began explaining details of ancient alien civilizations, languages lost to time, and maps of star systems no human had explored. Ryan listened intently, asking questions and commenting his curiosity. Genuine. The hours passed, but neither of them noticed. Lost in a conversation that bridged worlds and species, their discussion was interrupted by a sudden alarm. The ship's sensors had detected an unknown fleet approaching fast. Ryan immediately assessed the situation. Pirates. Likely scavengers from the outer sectors. They must think the ship is undefended. Vera's eyes sharpened. I can help, she said. Ryan raised an eyebrow. You? How? She hesitated, then touched a control panel. The ship responded immediately. I know how to manipulate your defense systems, she explained. My people trained me for situations like this. I'd never had the chance to use it before. Ryan's mouth twitched into a faint smile. Well, now is as good a time as any. For the next hour, they worked together. Ryan piloted the ship with precision, while Vera handled the defense systems. Her fingers moved over the controls with fluid motion, redirecting shields, coordinating weapon fire, and guiding the ship through dangerous maneuvers. She was calm, focused, and deadly efficient. When the pirate ships finally disengaged, Their fleet retreating after failing to breach the transport's defenses, Ryan glanced at Vera. She had not even flinched, her expression steady and composed. You saved us," he said simply. Vera shook her head, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. "I only did what was necessary. You could have done it yourself, but you trusted me. That is why we survived." Ryan smiled faintly. "I trust. Those who prove themselves. You have proven more than most soldiers I know." Vera looked at him, her large eyes reflecting both awe and a strange warmth. For the first time, she did not feel small or insignificant. She had been seen, acknowledged, and valued. And it was all because of a human who had chosen her for who she was, not for what she looked like. The rest of the journey passed without incident, though both remained vigilant. They shared stories, their laughter mingling with the hum of the engines. Ryan learned about Vera's life, the hardships she endured, the lessons she learned in secrecy. Vera learned about Ryan's past, his battles, his struggles, and the reasons he had become the soldier he was. By the time they approached the human colony ship, a bond had formed between them. It was not just trust or respect, it was a quiet understanding, an acknowledgement that they were no longer just soldier and princess, but partners facing the unknown together. Vera looked out the viewport as the colony ship came into view. It was massive, a city in space, bustling with life. Humans and aliens moved together in a delicate harmony, the result of years of diplomacy and cooperation. For a moment, she felt a pang of fear. This was a place she had never been, a place where she would be judged again. But Ryan's presence beside her gave her courage. "You will be fine," Ryan said quietly. "I will not let anyone hurt you. And you are more capable than they will ever understand." Vera nodded, taking a deep breath. "Thank you for believing in me," Ryan smiled, his eyes meeting hers. "It's not just belief, it's the truth." The ship docked, and the doors opened to reveal the bustling interior of the colony. People stared at Vera, some with curiosity, others with subtle disdain, but Ryan remained at her side, unwavering. Together they stepped onto the colony, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. And in that moment, Vera realized something profound. She had never been truly seen before, never chosen for her courage, her mind, or her heart, until now. Human soldier who chose the ugliest princess had unknowingly unlocked a part of her she had kept hidden for years. And though neither of them fully understood it yet, their journey was only beginning, a journey that would reveal secrets, test courage, and forever change the way the galaxy saw them both. The human colony faded behind them, a small dot of life amid the endless stars. Ryan Hale sat in the pilot's chair, his eyes scanning the instruments, alert for anything unusual. Vera stood nearby, her hands lightly resting on the control panel, her large eyes flicking across the data streams. She had recovered quickly from the pirate attack. Yes. But Ryan sensed that she had been holding back something important. "Captain," she said finally, her voice calm but firm, "our course passes through an uncharted sector. Sensors indicate anomalies ahead. We may encounter hostile fleets, unstable space, or even remnants of the war we left behind." Ryan nodded, appreciating her blunt honesty. "Good, that's exactly why I have you with me. Let's see what this sector has to offer." Vera's lips curved in a faint smile. "You trust me more than anyone has before. That is unusual for a human soldier." Ryan shrugged, his gaze steady on the stars. "I trust those who earn it, and you have earned it many times over." Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the occasional hum of the engines and the quiet clicking of Vera's fingers on the controls. She monitored the approaching anomalies, adjusting the ship's course, calibrating shields, and mapping potential threats. Her knowledge of alien star systems proved invaluable. Ryan realized that she had studied areas of the galaxy that even human maps had ignored. Suddenly, the ship jolted violently. Ryan's hand shot to the controls as alarms blared. "Report," he demanded. Vera's large eyes widened as she scanned the sensors. "We're caught in a gravity fluctuation, Captain. A hidden neutron star. Its field is unstable. We don't correct our trajectory immediately, will be pulled into it. Ryan's jaw tightened. Do it now. Vera's fingers danced across the control panels with precision. Shields shifted, engines roared, and the ship responded to her commands as if it were an extension of her mind. Ryan maneuvered simultaneously, guiding them through the deadly currents of space. Every second counted. The gravitational pull increased, twisting the ship violently. Debris from destroyed ships spun past them like deadly knives almost. There Vera muttered, her voice steady, her eyes focused. The ship shuddered one final time before they broke free from the pull. The alarms ceased and silence returned. Ryan exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of near disaster lift. You saved us again, he said quietly. Vera shook her head. I only responded. Most would not have allowed me near controls. They would have dismissed me as usual. Ryan looked at her, understanding more clearly now the depth of her hidden potential. She was not only intelligent and resourceful, she was trained for situations far beyond what anyone expected. She had never been allowed to show it. Their respite was brief. Sensor ping alerted them to movement nearby. Ryan frowned. Small ships, fast approach. Pirates again? Vera shook her head. No, these are different. They're organized, equipped with cloaking devices. They may be mercenaries or remnants of the enemy fleets. We need to prepare. Ryan activated the ship's defensive systems. Then let's see what they want. The cloaked ships decloaked suddenly, surrounding them in a tight formation. Ryan's hands moved expertly over the controls, dodging incoming fire, while Vera coordinated counterattacks. The combination of her strategic mind and his combat instincts made them a formidable team. Fire at will. Ryan commanded. Vera redirected the ship's energy weapons, targeting key enemy ships with precision. Each strike was calculated, exploiting weaknesses in the attackers' formations. Ryan piloted with agility, weaving between attacks, trusting her guidance completely. During the battle, Vera revealed more of her abilities. She manipulated energy shields in ways Ryan had never seen, creating barriers that seemed to bend reality. Slightly, her tactical suggestions were beyond advanced. She anticipated enemy movements before they happened, as if she could read their intentions. The battle raged for what felt like hours, but their coordination never faltered. Ryan fought. Beside her, feeling an exhilaration he had not experienced in months, Vera's hidden strength, her intelligence, and her calm under pressure were awe-inspiring. Finally, the last enemy ship exploded, leaving the sector eerily silent. Ryan leaned back in his chair, breathing heavily, his heart still racing. Vera stood beside him, calm as ever, surveying the damage. You are remarkable, Ryan said softly. Vera's large eyes met his, her expression unreadable. I am only what I was trained to be. I am not remarkable in my people's eyes. Only in yours, apparently. Ryan shook his head. No, you are remarkable in every sense. Courage, intelligence, skill. You have them all. And you hid them. For survival, that is strength, not weakness. Vera considered his words. She had never been praised for these traits, never had anyone acknowledge them. Her life had been spent in shadows, pretending to be less so she could survive. And now this human soldier, this stranger from another world, saw her, truly saw her. Why do you choose me? She asked finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Ryan looked at her steadily. Because I see you, not the face, not the rumors, not the judgments. I see the person inside, the one who fights, who thinks, who cares about others. That is why. Vera's lips twitched into a small smile. For the first time in her life, she felt acknowledged, respected, and even understood. The calm did not last long. Their sensors detected an unusual energy signature nearby, something far larger than any ship. Ryan's jaw tightened. That's no ship. It's a massive construct, ancient, powerful, and it's moving toward us. Vera's eyes widened slightly, her posture tense. I have heard of such structures. They are remnants of old wars, weapons of unimaginable power. We must be careful. Ryan nodded. Then, we need a plan. and I trust you to lead it." Together, they prepared for the unknown. Vera's knowledge of ancient star systems and warfare proved invaluable. She guided the ship through dangerous fields of debris, avoiding traps that would have destroyed a lesser vessel. Her instructions, trusting her instincts completely, as they approached the construct, its scale became horrifyingly clear. It was a massive alien fortress, drifting silently in space, its surface bristling with energy weapons and defenses. The ship's sensors were overwhelmed. It's unable to fully map the structure. "This is unlike anything I've ever faced," Ron admitted, his voice tense. Vera's large eyes were steady. "Then we face it together. You trust me? I trust you. That is enough." The two of them worked seamlessly, navigating the dangers, avoiding detection, and finding weak points in the fortress's shields. Every action revealed more of Vera's hidden talents. She calculated, anticipated, and commanded. With precision, her mind moving faster than Ryan had thought possible. Hours turned into a tense night in hyperspace. The fortress remained a looming threat, but Ryan and Vera had survived unscathed. Their bond growing stronger with each challenge. Ryan realized that Vera's strength went far beyond appearances. She was a warrior, a strategist, and someone who could survive anything. Finally, as they moved past the dangerous sector, Ryan allowed himself a moment of relief. He looked at Vera, her large eyes now softer, her posture less tense. "You are more than I ever imagined," he said quietly. Vera looked at him, her gaze steady. "And you see more than anyone ever has. That is why I follow you, Captain. Not because I must, but because I choose to." Ryan smiled faintly. The stars stretched endlessly before them, vast and infinite, yet somehow smaller because they faced the universe together. The human soldier and the so-called ugly princess were no longer merely survivors of war. They were partners, allies, and something more, a bond forged in battle, trust, and respect. And though neither of them fully understood the journey ahead, one thing was certain: Vera's true potential was no longer hidden. The galaxy had yet to see the depths of her power, and Ryan had the privilege of witnessing it firsthand. Together they moved forward into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them side by side. The transport shuddered as it dropped out of hyperspace, emerging into a dense cluster of star systems previously uncharted by human or allied maps. Ryan Hale gripped the controls, scanning for threats. He had learned long ago to expect the unexpected, but something about this sector felt different. "Sensors show a massive concentration of energy signatures," Vera said, her voice steady but sharp. Her large eyes flicked over the holographic displays, analyzing every reading. "They are not ships. They are constructs. Something ancient, powerful, and very dangerous." Ryan frowned. Explain. "These are remnants of a long-lost civilization," Vera explained. "Weapons, fortresses, or perhaps living machines. My people feared them. They are unpredictable and not deadly." Ryan felt a chill, but he did not show it. "Then we proceed carefully. Trust your judgment." Vera nodded, a flicker of determination. In her expression, she moved to the main controls and began plotting a safe course through the sector, avoiding the dense energy fields and debris. Every movement was precise, calculated, and confident. Ryan watched her in awe. She was not just a princess. She was a master navigator, a tactician, the survivor. Suddenly, a massive shadow appeared on the sensors, blocking the stars. The construct was enormous, larger than any warship Ryan had ever seen. Its surface was jagged, bristling with energy nodes and weapon emplacements. The ship's shields flickered under the sheer presence of the alien fortress. Vera's large eyes narrowed. "This is worse than I imagined. Its energy output is immense. If we are detected, it could destroy us instantly." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Then we need a plan. I follow your lead." Vera's fingers danced across the controls. She rerouted power, recalibrated shields, and analyzed weak points in the construct's defenses. "We can pass through its outer field undetected if we maintain a precise trajectory. Any mistake, and we will be destroyed." Ryan nodded. Do it. The transport shuddered violently as they entered the outer defenses. Energy nodes flared around them, scanning, probing, searching. Ryan piloted with absolute focus, guided by Vera's expert instructions. They maneuvered through the deadly field, narrowly avoiding beams of destructive energy. Hours passed in tense silence. The pair worked seamlessly, their trust in each other unspoken but absolute. Finally, they reached a point near the center of the construct where the sensors indicated a large energy core. Vera's eyes widened slightly. That is its heart. If we can disable it, we might neutralize the threat. Ryan looked at her, surprise in his gaze. You can do that? I can try, she replied. Her voice was calm, but there was an undercurrent of urgency. But I need to remove my restraints. Ryan frowned. Restraints. Vera took a deep breath. I have a gene lock suppressor embedded in my neck. It keeps my true abilities in check. If I remove it, I can access my full potential. But it is dangerous. Even I may not fully control it. Hand went instinctively to hers. Are you sure? Vera looked at him, her large eyes steady and unwavering. I am. If we do not act, many will die. Trust you to stay by my side. Ryan nodded. Then do it. I'm with you. With a careful motion, Vera removed the suppressor. A soft hum filled the cabin as energy coursed through her body. Her skin began to glow, faintly at first, then brighter. The mottled patterns melted into flowing sigils of light, and her posture straightened into a regal, commanding form. Her eyes, once uneven and cautious, now blazed like twin suns. The ugly exterior was gone, replaced by a presence that radiated power, beauty, and authority. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. He had known Vera was capable, but this was beyond anything he could have imagined. Vera, he whispered. She gave him a small, confident smile. Do not be afraid. I am still me, only stronger. The ship trembled as the energy of her transformation resonated with the vessel. Ryan held steady, his hand never leaving hers. The construct outside sensed the surge of power and reacted immediately. Energy beams flared, striking the hull. Ryan maneuvered the ship. Following her precise guidance, Vera extended her hands toward the control panel, her glowing form radiating energy. She manipulated the ship's systems and their weapons with unprecedented skill. Energy shields flared, weapons fired in perfect coordination, and beams of destructive power struck the construct's heart with surgical precision. Ryan watched in awe as the massive alien fortress shook violently. Vera's powers, combined with the ship's systems, were overwhelming the defenses. We can do this, Ryan shouted, adrenaline surging. Yes, Vera replied, her voice strong and commanding. Keep us steady. Focus on the weak points. Together, we can destroy it. The construct groaned under the assault, energy surges erupting across its surface. Ryan piloted with absolute trust in her commands, weaving between destructive blasts while firing the ship's weapons. Vera's presence was commanding, her strategy flawless. The fortress began to collapse, systems failing one by one. Finally, with a tremendous explosion of light and energy, the construct disintegrated. Debris floated harmlessly around them, the threat neutralized. Ryan exhaled, his heart racing, his eyes fixed on Vera. You did it, he said, awe in his voice. Vera smiled, a mixture of relief and satisfaction on her glowing face. We did it. Together. Ryan nodded, his hand reaching for hers. I knew you were capable, but this is beyond imagination. Vera shook her head. I have always been capable. My people never allowed me to show it. They feared my true form, my strength. They judged me for appearances instead of actions. Ryan's gaze softened. I saw through that. I saw the person you truly are. That is why I chose you. For the first time, Vera's large eyes glistened with emotion. She had been underestimated, ignored, and even ridiculed for her entire life. But now, not only had she revealed her true power, She had done it alongside someone who had believed in her from the very beginning. The transport drifted quietly through space, the stars stretching endlessly outside the viewport. Ryan looked at Vera, still glowing with energy, and realized that the galaxy had never seen anything like her. Vera, in turn, studied him. He remained calm, unshaken, even in the face of her overwhelming transformation. He did not recoil. Did you not fear her? He simply accepted her, trusted her, and stood by her side. "You are remarkable," Ryan said quietly, his eyes meeting hers. Vera smiled, her glowing form radiating warmth and authority. "And you see me for who I truly am. That is why I trust you, Ryan Hale. No one has ever done that before." The ship's alarm suddenly blared, pulling them back to reality. New readings appeared on the sensors, a fleet approaching rapidly, alien warlords seeking vengeance against her family. Ryan tensed. "We're not done yet, are we?" Vera shook her head, determination blazing in her glowing eyes. "This is only the beginning. But now we are ready." Together they prepared for the next challenge, their bond stronger than ever. The human soldier and the alien princess, once shunned and underestimated, were now a force unmatched in the galaxy. They were partners, warriors, and allies, ready to face whatever came next. Side by side, as the approaching fleet drew closer, Vera's true form glowed brighter, and Ryan knew, without doubt, that he had chosen wisely. Not for beauty, not for status, but for courage, strength, and heart. And together, they would change the galaxy forever. The approaching fleet filled the void ahead, dark silhouettes against the glittering stars. Ryan Hale gripped the controls of the transport, his jaw tight, muscles tense. Beside him, Vera's glowing form pulsed with energy, the light from her body casting shifting patterns across the cabin. She stood poised, calm, and deadly. The humans and aliens in the nearby systems had never faced anything like her. And Ryan knew that their survival depended on trust, skill, and the bond they had forged over countless dangers. "They're coming fast," Ryan said, voice steady, despite the adrenaline surging through him. "We need to act now." Vera's eyes, twin suns of glowing power, scanned the fleet. "They seek revenge," she said. "They are after my family's lineage, me. If we do not act decisively, the colony, and all those aboard, will be destroyed." Ryan nodded. "Then we fight together." The transport shuddered as the first salvo of energy weapons struck its shields. Sparks danced across the panels, and the ship rocked violently. Ryan maneuvered expertly, dodging and weaving, while Vera coordinated the ship's weapons. Her fingers moved across the controls with a speed and precision Ryan had never seen. Every beam, every strike was calculated. She guided him through the chaos with calm authority, her voice cutting through the alarms. "Shift power to the forward shields." She commanded fire at the lead ship's engines. Ryan obeyed, his trust in her absolute. The lead warship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, debris scattering into the void. The remaining fleet hesitated, giving Ryan and Vera a brief. Window 2 Act.Veyra extended her glowing hands toward the control panels, her energy flowing into the ship's systems. She amplified the weapons, shields, and engines beyond their normal capacity. Ryan watched in awe as the transport transformed from a simple human craft into a vessel of immense power. "You can control it all?" Ryan asked, his voice tinged. With disbelief, Vera shook her head slightly. I can channel my energy through the ship. But it is dangerous. I must focus completely. One mistake, and the backlash could destroy us both." Ryan nodded. "Then I will protect you. Won't let anything happen to you." Her eyes softened briefly. "And that is why I trust you, Ryan Hale. You are not just brave. You see me as I truly am." With a final nod, Vera focused. Her energy surged through the transport, weapons firing with unprecedented precision. Every enemy ship struck was disabled or destroyed before it could fire again. Ryan piloted the ship through the chaos, following her guidance, every action synchronized with her commands. The enemy fleet faltered, Their attacks became disorganized, their formations broken. Vera's true power was overwhelming them, her control absolute. Yet she did not revel in destruction. Every action was purposeful, strategic. The safety of the colony, the survival of innocence, guided her every decision. Ryan realized something profound. She was not only powerful, but wise. Her strength was not for conquest, but for protection. She had hidden it for so long, underestimated, and judged. Yet now, she wielded it with grace and precision. Amid the battle, a massive warlord ship emerged, larger and more heavily armed than the others. Its weapons glowed with a deadly intensity aimed directly at the colony. Ryan's eyes narrowed. "That's the leader," he said. "If that ship reaches the colony, it's over." Vera's glowing form pulsed brighter. "Then it must be." "Stopped. You follow my instructions exactly, and we can defeat it." Ryan nodded, gripping the controls tightly. The warlord ship advanced, firing a barrage that struck the transport shields. Ryan dodged and weaved under Vera's precise guidance, every move calculated. Vera directed the ship's weapons, targeting weak points in the massive vessel. Finally, after an intense exchange, the warlord ship faltered. A coordinated strike, guided by Vera's energy and Ryan's piloting, breached its core. The massive ship exploded in a brilliant flash, debris scattering harmlessly. The remaining fleet, seeing their leader destroyed, retreated in disarray. Silence fell over the void. The transport drifted, lightly damaged but intact. Ryan exhaled slowly, his body trembling with relief and exhaustion. Beside him, Vera's glowing form dimmed slightly, the energy of her transformation settling into a calm radiance. "You did it," Ryan said softly, turning to her. "We did it," Vera corrected, her voice steady but tired. Together, Ryan reached for her hand, gripping it firmly. "I have never met anyone like you. You are incredible. I don't care what anyone else thought. I knew your strength from the start." Vera's large eyes shimmered, reflecting. "The distant stars. No one has ever chosen me for who I truly am," she admitted quietly. "Not my people, not anyone. Till you." Ryan's expression softened. "I did, and I will always see you, all of you, for who you are. That will never change." A quiet smile touched Vera's glowing face. For the first time in her life, she felt fully seen, fully acknowledged, and fully respected. The battles, the hiding, the ridicule, all of it faded into the past. She was no longer the ugly princess. She was a warrior, a protector, and now a chosen companion. As the transport continued toward the human colony, Vera and Ryan looked out at the stars, a vast and endless expanse. The universe was still full of dangers, mysteries, and battles to fight. But they were no longer alone. They had each other, trust forged in combat, courage shared in peril, and a bond stronger than any fleet or fortress. When they reached the colony, the humans and aliens alike stared in awe at Vera. The ugly princess they had heard about was gone, replaced by a radiant being whose presence commanded respect and admiration. The whispers of ridicule were silenced, replaced by awe and curiosity. Ryan stepped beside her, unshaken by the stares. "This is her," he said simply, "and she chose to be here with me. Not because she must, but because she wants to. Respect." That Vera's glowing form radiated warmth as she stepped forward. "I am here because I choose to protect this place, and because I trust him," she said, her voice carrying clearly to all who could hear. "I am not defined by appearances. I am defined by my actions, my courage, and my choices." The colony erupted into cheers. Humans and aliens alike recognized the truth of her words. They saw strength where they had once seen weakness, courage where they had once seen fear, and heart where they had once seen only appearance. Ryan smiled at Vera, pride and admiration shining in his eyes. "You've changed more than the galaxy, Vera. You've changed the way people see themselves and each other." Vera reached out, her hand glowing faintly, touching Ryan's shoulder. "And you've changed me," she said softly. "We chose me when no one else did. You saw my value, my strength, my heart. That is something I will never forget." They stood together, side by side, the stars stretching infinitely beyond them. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, yet to be discovered, but they had faced the impossible and survived. They had revealed the truth, defeated the enemy, and shown that courage, heart, and trust mattered more than appearance, titles, or reputation, as they prepared to leave the colony and continue their journey. Ryan and Vera shared a quiet understanding. They were no longer soldier and princess, human and alien, or ugly and admired. They were equals, partners, and a force that could face anything together. The stars beckoned, infinite and bright. And for the first time, both knew that no matter what lay ahead, they would face it together, chosen not for appearances, but for courage, strength, and the bond that connected them across worlds and galaxies. In the end, human soldier's choice had proven true. The ugliest alien princess was more than anyone could imagine, powerful, brilliant, and brave. And with her by his side, Ryan Hale knew that together they could face any challenge the galaxy had to offer.